Welcome to a quick chat on understanding functional medicine. So if we have a look at the factors that influence health, they're quite varied. So they are factors such as what and when we eat and how much we eat, what is the purity of the air that we breathe, and of course the purity of water that we drink, our soil health and microorganisms, our gut bugs, how much exercise we do and what kind of exercise, have we experienced any physical or mental trauma, certain psychosocial factors such as our family networks, the stress at work and stress generally, exposure to harmful chemicals, including pharmaceuticals, and of course exposure to radiation. This is not really an exhaustive list, but it does give a good idea of the factors that can lead our body into a state of disease. With conventional medicine names the condition or the disease. So basically the diagnosis or the name is based on a list of symptoms that the patient will express or tell their doctor. But little attention is actually given to the root cause. In other words, why is the patient suffering from those symptoms? What's happening in their life or in their body that's resulting in those particular symptoms in their body? And it's measured against population standards. So the health of their body is usually measured with a test, and that test is measured against what is general in population standards. So for example, let's say, for example, one is tested for HbA1c. That looks at the sugar that coats the inside of the cell. And there's an optimal level of HbA1c. In other words, the optimal level is the level where your body is at its healthiest. And there's an average level. In other words, what is the general level of HbA1c in the population? Now, although HbA1c does have slightly tighter margins than, say, some of the other blood tests, in general, what is optimal is not emphasized enough. So the population standards are much looser than functional medicine standards, where we look at specifically what is going to be best for the body. The other thing, conventional medicine is a separatist treatment approach. So for example, let's say you've got a migraine and you've got bloating and you've got sore joints. You would go to a rheumatologist for your sore joints. You might go to a dietitian or a gastroenterologist for your bloating and your gut issues, and you might go to a neurologist for your migraines. And yet, from a functional medicine perspective, all of those could be associated with the same problem, and resolving the root cause resolves all of those separate individual signs and symptoms. With conventional medicine, the treatment is focused on symptom relief. It's not focused on why did you get the problem in the first place and how can we remove the triggers. And of course, what drug is going to offer symptom relief is generally what is prescribed when you go to your conventional doctor. On the other hand, functional medicine addresses the relationship between our genes, our cellular nutrient status. In other words, within our cell itself, what is the nutrient status that allows the enzymes to work and the hormones to work and the body to detox properly, for example? Patients' habits, so in other words, what food they eat that they shouldn't or don't eat that they should. Do they exercise at all or do they have a sedentary life? Are they very stressed? What foods do they eat? All of these play a role in the impact on chronic diseases. So the chronic diseases would be, for example, depression, mental health, so Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, cancer, heart health, diabetes and insulin resistance, and strokes. And there are others, of course. So functional medicine is primarily about prevention and education. But having said that, even if one is suffering from a particular condition, taking the body, finding out what caused that condition and taking the body on a path of what caused it and how do you remove the cause so that the body is able to heal is obviously very, very beneficial, and it is a focus of functional medicine. But really, the first prize is to catch whatever condition you have before it damages your organs and your systems. So functional medicine isn't just about treating symptoms. What we look at is, why did you get the symptoms in the first place? So we address the condition upstream before it causes problems downstream. So we determine the cause, and the cause might be genetic or epigenetic. Now, genetic obviously would be the genes that you inherit that might collectively predispose you towards getting certain conditions. So, for example, if you've got gut problems or celiac, you may have signs and symptoms that are associated with that, and there's a genetic propensity to develop problems or sensitivity to gluten or celiac or gut issues. Also, if you're looking at the cause, you want to look at the epigenetics. Now, epigenetics looks at your lifestyle, and how does your lifestyle impact on your genes? Because lifestyle impacts on whether the genes are expressed or whether the genes are hidden. So when you're looking at addressing a particular condition, we remove the trigger. So what is the cause of the condition? And we remove those. And there may be several causes. And then we support the correct cellular requirements so that the body can heal itself. So it's really about the holistic body and not about separate organ specialties. But what's wonderful about it too is that it's all about empowering the person. Because unlike with conventional medicine, where the physician takes responsibility for your health improvement, with functional medicine there's a collaborative association between your functional medicine practitioner and yourself, so that together you can focus on root causes. How do you remove the root causes? What can you both do to return your body to health? So the functional medicine practitioner's role is to give you information, and of course it is your role to do what you need to do to change your lifestyle so that you can improve your health. So the personalized approach addresses the individuality of each person. Every person has a unique set of variables that lead them down the path of poor health. And a personalized approach looks at the individual. What are your variables? What are your genes? And what is going to be best in your life to take you on a path to health? So it's very empowering, because really, whether you follow the path is all about your own actions and not what somebody else is doing for you. So, for example, taking medication is not as empowering as you making lifestyle changes. So it addresses your mix of genetics and your lifestyle patterns. And nowadays, even though genetics is not essential in addressing health, it's very helpful. And genetics nowadays is much more affordable. So when you're looking at gene profiling, you're looking at SNPs, so single nucleotide polymorphisms that you inherit, that may collectively result in suboptimal enzymes. And of course, the enzymes are the workhorses of your body, and they are the compounds that do all the work to enact your cellular health or are players in your cellular disease. So with epigenetics, we're looking at how does our lifestyle influence the expression of these genes SNPs, or the suppression of those genes. So for example, they found that certain plants can help to hide or suppress certain oncogenes, so genes that are promoters of cancer, for example. And there's a lot of information now. The science of epigenetics is a growing science. So another way to put it would be, genetics load the gun. So you might inherit genes that make you susceptible to certain conditions, but it is your lifestyle that pulls the trigger. So you can create a lifestyle for yourself that never pulls that trigger and never allows the genetics to express in your body. And functional medicine takes both into account. So it takes your genetics into account and it takes your lifestyle into account. And if you can't afford gene profile tests, which many people can't, it addresses the lifestyle, addresses the root cause of your condition, and allows the body to follow a path towards health. So thank you so much for your attention, and please contact your health coach for any further information.